All right, I think we're going to get started. Hello, everyone. We are so excited to be here. My name's Mariah Moon, and I am here from Google, and I'm with Nimer.
Hello, everyone.
So like we said, we're going to be talking about Android accessibility and Chromebook accessibility today, as well as giving an overview of accessibility at Google. So, just a little agenda. We'll do an introduction, and then we will cover the Google mission. We're going to do Android accessibility, Chromebook accessibility, and then we will talk about some resources at the end. We'd love to save some time for questions, too, and we'll be available for questions as well. All right, so I'll start just with an introduction. So I work on the Chromebook accessibility team. I'm a product manager. So I work on all of the different assistive technology that's built into Chromebook. I am a white woman. I have glasses on. I have long brown hair, and I'm wearing my blue Google accessibility shirt. Most of us here from Google are wearing our Google accessibility shirts. And I am visiting you from Seattle, Washington in the United States. I'm very excited to be here. This is my first time in Kenya. And yeah, thank you. Nimer, do you want to go?
Hello, all. Mariah, thank you for your introduction. And thank you to all of you here in Africa for a really great welcome. It's been my first time here in Kenya as well. It's been very good to be here. Really enjoying the food and all the visits and the school. Went to Mombasa, got to see that, and it's been a really nice trip here. And then here in Nairobi, and the hospitality of the hotel, and Enable for all they're doing. Irene, thank you all for all that. But my name is Nimer. I'm blind myself, and so you want a description? I have blue polka dots. I have a wig with this pointy top on my head, and whatever you would like to imagine, that's what I'm wearing. If you want the reality, I'm not wearing a Google accessibility shirt because I had to be different, but I am wearing a Google shirt under this like gray blazer, and I'm wearing shorts, and normally I'm in shorts and a t-shirt, so for me this is dressed up. So yeah. So let's jump to talking about, I think, the Google mission. I'll talk about the mission a little bit, and then we'll pass it along to Mariah to talk about the diversity and equity and equity versus equality. But Google's mission. The mission of Google is that we're here to make it sorry, hold on one second. I'm using my phone here to look at my notes, and it's jumping around. So the mission is to organize the world's information and make it accessible and universally useful. So accessibility is part of that mission statement, which is really cool. And I think the idea is to build accessibility into the products from the outset. And so I think that in a lot of in pretty much everything that we talk about here today, you're going to see that DNA of that mission to make things accessible and useful. We'll pass it along to Mariah. We'll go to the next slide.
Great. Thanks, Nimer. So I wanted to spend just a minute talking about equity versus equality. And this is something we talk about at Google. So I'm projecting a slide with some pictures on it, and there's some pictures related to equality, where there's 4 people. There's a woman sitting in a wheelchair. There's a tall man, kind of a medium-sized woman, and a child. And They all have the same bicycle. The bicycle is all the same for all of these people. And so when you provide equality in this case, many of these people are not able to ride the bike well. So the woman in the wheelchair isn't able to ride the bike. The tall man is kind of hunched over. The medium-sized woman is on the bike, and the child can barely reach the pedals. And so that's what we get if everyone has the same solution. But if we look at equity, if we look at building equitable solutions, solutions where everyone can partake, well, the woman would have a wheelchair bicycle, and the tall man would have a bigger bicycle. And the woman has the same bicycle, she's medium-sized, and the kid now has a small bicycle. And so the idea here is that we have to build products that are equitable, that everyone can use, that you can tailor the experiences to your needs, and you can get access to information and use the devices that we build. So that's what this is about building equitable solutions. Okay, this slide looks a little bit distorted, but
Sure does.
thanks, Nimer. So this slide is talking about the fact that 16% of the population, the world population, has a disability. And at Google, we think about our building solutions for people in kind of 4 different categories. So for vision, we build solutions for people who are blind, and for people who are low vision, for people who are colorblind, farsighted, light sensitive, photosensitive seizure triggers. There's many people who have different vision disabilities that we build our products for to make sure all of those people can use our products. For hearing, we build our products so that people who are deaf and hearing can use, Android, Chromebooks, the different products that Google builds. For motor, this is about people who have limited dexterity, limited manipulation, differences in their motor control. So we also build products to help people with motor differences. And the last is cognitive. So this is about building products that are inclusive for people with different cognitive disabilities, including things like ADHD, dyslexia, and all sorts of different cognitive disabilities. So this is just an overview of how we build our products. We build inclusively for these different groups of people.
Cool. So we're going to talk about Android next. And Android is the mobile operating system from Google. It runs on mobile phones. Can also run on Chromebooks and tablets and other things. So watches, cars, TVs. Android's all over the place. And the idea is to make Android accessible and useful for everyone, right? So it kind of ties into that mission. And so to do that, I'm going to be talking about some various tools. And so things like accessibility scanner and look to speak, talkback, braille, a lot of other tools. We're going to be talking about those various tools and all about what they do. But this list is not comprehensive, like there's other options as well and features. And so definitely find us, any of us, have a chat with us. We'll demo any of the tools, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have and collect your feedback. If you're Android users, we're happy to collect your feedback. Hopefully everything is working well, but any feedback is welcome. So. Let's go ahead and jump to accessibility scanner. Okay. So the idea of what accessibility scanner does, it helps app developers identify opportunities to improve the accessibility of their apps. And so some examples of that is maybe you might have an app that has some unlabeled buttons. And for a screen reader user, you try to navigate an app and it just says button. You have no idea what the button does because it's not labeled. And so Accessibility Scanner is a service that can be run by developers or anyone really. You can download this app from the Play Store and run the Accessibility Scanner on an app, and it will identify some of the most common accessibility challenges of that app and kind of provide help you figure out how to work around it and how to fix the accessibility of that app. All right, let's jump on to TalkBack. So I use TalkBack myself. It's a screen reader that from the very beginning was developed alongside blind individuals and getting feedback from blind users and also blind Googlers and from the very beginning it's been about that development of this screen reader and getting as much feedback as possible to build this into Android phones. TalkBack is in phones, it's in watches, it's in TV, it's on a lot of these Android devices. And so TalkBack allows a blind user to, when the blind user touches the screen, they get feedback, spoken feedback, and they're able to interact with the device using gestures. And there's a lot of features to TalkBack as well. But it is a mobile screen reader. Are there any TalkBack users in here? No?
I see a couple
Maybe?
hands.
Sorry,
I see a couple
can't see
hands.
you.
Yep.
So, all right, good. Good. All right. So let's jump to Braille. So Braille display support has been recently, within the past couple of years, a few years, one of my first projects on the Android team when I joined Android was essentially redesigning the Braille display support from the bottom up. And so a lot of the Braille stuff is kind of is a lot of my work, the design and the way it works. And so Braille works, it's inside of TalkBack, it's built into TalkBack, and it allows a user to connect a Braille display, which is a device, electronic device, and that displays these raised pins. And so using the Braille display, you can connect this to a mobile phone or a tablet using a cord, USB-C, or using Bluetooth, and it will output the Braille of whatever's displayed on the screen. And so that's built into TalkBack and available on any Android phone that has TalkBack. As long as it's updated, you can use Braille display support. There's also a Braille keyboard as well to allow you to type using an on-screen Braille keyboard as well. So, and that's available in 38 languages and continuing to grow. So let's move on to Lookout. Have any of you used Lookout before? Yes, you use Lookout. Okay, all right. So yeah, Lookout is essentially intended for a blind person to get a lot of information about the world around. So it uses the phone's camera and it's onboard intelligence, and an idea is to allow a blind person to get a better understanding of the world. Right, so you can use it to read text and signs and bills and documents, currencies, food labels, and get images described as well. And so Lookout is a very powerful tool. Again, it's available. Anyone can download it with an Android phone. You can download it from the Play Store and install it on any phone. And it's a very nice app, so give it a go, try it out, download it, play with it. It does a lot of neat things. Okay. Another part of Lookout is the question and answer mode. And so what this is you take a picture of an object or whatever it is that you'd like to take a picture of, and you get an image description. but maybe you want to know specific information about that image that maybe wasn't described or wasn't clearly described. You want to know a little bit more. So using question and answer mode, you can ask questions, either by voice or by typing it out. You can ask questions. Tell me more about this dog, or tell me more about this, whatever it is that you took, and it will give you more of a description of whatever that object is. And so that's also a very neat mode. It's again in the images mode of Lookout, so you can download that and give that a play. All right. Let's take a look at some of the tools for individuals that need a little bit of help with some of the hearing tools. So Sound Amplifier is a product that can be used to amplify sounds, boost sounds, change frequencies, etc. This is using machine learning. It can reduce background noise. It makes it a lot easier to hear. You can have essentially hear the sounds that you want to hear, but maybe filter out some of the other things. And so you can imagine maybe you're in the loud room and you want to filter out some of the extra noise, or you need some amplification. So this works with a headset. You can either use a wired or Bluetooth headset. And use that to amplify the sounds.
Quick time check, Nimer. We have 10 minutes.
Very good.
Do you want to pick a couple favorites for Android?
Very good. All right, Live Transcribe. So Live Transcribe is another one, a neat one. This app allows for getting transcriptions of real-time audio. So essentially, whatever you might be having a conversation with someone, your phone is able to pick up that conversation, and using speech recognition, it is able to dictate that. Essentially, it's able to show that text of whatever it is that is being transcribed. So someone can have a conversation this way. So we'll skip on to that part of Live Transcribe as well. You can set up custom notifications. So if you want to be notified of a specific sound, you can get that notification played. Let's go to the next one. Audio message.
With custom sound notifications on Android, you can.
Audio message transcription. So this will transcribe if you send audio messages. In the Messages app, you can get audio transcription in the Messages app. Let's jump to voice access. So this allows for voice control of an Android device using speech commands. This also lets you edit text as well and essentially do any on-device task using the voice. We'll jump to switch access. So this is for users with a physical impairment, need to use switches instead of a touch screen. For anyone with a dexterity impairment, they can use that. We'll jump to action blocks. So this allows individual to essentially add an action to their home screen. So anything that the assistant can do, for instance, you want to send a message or make a call to a specific person, these can be very useful for someone with a cognitive impairment, perhaps. Look to speak. This one is getting some update. We're not allowed to announce that yet, but it is an app that allows for controlling a device using the eyes, so eye gaze for individuals that need that. Next one is reading mode. So anyone that has dyslexia or visual impairment might find this one helpful, but anyone can benefit from this app as well. This one allows you to customize the display options and have text read out loud as well. And so this works in a document or on the web. It's a very useful feature. This one can be downloaded from the Play Store. Having said that, I just went through a lot of information on Android, so please find me, please find Alexander or anyone else at Google, Mariah, anyone else can answer any questions about Android. Hand it over to Mariah to talk about Chrome. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Nimer. Yes. Awesome. So I am going to be talking about Chromebook, and I thought I would just hold one up. I am holding up a Chromebook. This is a Google-made laptop. I put some stickers on it. That's what you're seeing. We have a culture at Google. Sometimes we put stickers on our laptop to show things we're passionate about. And I am passionate about accessibility, so I have all sorts of accessibility stickers on here. But this is my main computer for work. So I use this to do my job at Google. And that is a Chromebook. That's what we're going to be talking about. All right, so I just wanted to call out the fact that our accessibility for Chromebook is out of the box. We build it directly into the computer. So there's accessibility settings on Chromebook, and if you go into those settings, you will find features for people with vision impairments and who are deaf and hard of hearing and people who have mobility differences and cognitive differences. So we build all of our assistive technology into the operating system, so it's there for you right when you get it out of the box. All right, I know I have so many slides that I would love to cover, but we are running out of time. So I am going to pick just a couple of my favorites. So I have this broken down into the major categories we've been talking about. So vision, we have a feature that allows you to change the mouse cursor size. So for people with low vision, you can make the mouse pointer bigger. We also have a full screen magnifier. So for people with low vision, you can turn on the full screen magnifier and magnify the whole screen. Okay, I'm getting time check in the back. All right, there's one specific feature I'd love to show. So this is magnifier follows select to speak. So there are people on our team with low vision, and we talked with them. I put together a group, and I went to try and figure out where we could kind of improve the experience. And a lot of people with low vision benefit from using screen magnification and speech output at the same time. And so what we did is that when you're using a feature called select to speak, which will read out the text on the screen, and you're using magnifier at the same time, we keep the text in focus. We have a bunch more features. I'm going to cover a couple more in each category. This is inverting the screen for people who have light sensitivity. You can change the screen to be dark, which can be very helpful with higher contrast. Nimer talked about TalkBack on Android. On Chromebook, we also have a screen reader. It's called Chromevox. And I just wanted to take a minute and say, there is a fabulous developer on our team, software developer, who is fully blind. His name is David. I work very closely with him, and he built this tool. He built Chromevox for himself so that he could use the Chromebook. And so this is a fabulous tool built by someone who is blind for people who are blind. So again, you can use the the keyboard to kind of get speech output as well as Braille output. And that one is just built in. The command for that is Control-Alt-Z to turn it on. All right. PDF accessibility. We've been working on making PDFs more accessible. So if you take a picture of a textbook or something and it's not accessible, we now are using OCR, optical character recognition. It's a type of AI to basically read the different text out and help people who are blind read different PDFs. For people who are deaf and hard of hearing, we have a bunch of features. There is live captions that's built directly into the Chromebook. So if there's audio coming out of the Chromebook, we will caption any audio that's coming out of the Chromebook. Okay. Mono audio is a great feature for people who might have lost hearing in one ear. You can turn the audio on to have it work across both ears, and that's available in Chromebook as well. For people with motor differences, so limited dexterity, limited manipulation, limited strength, we have a feature called dictation, and you can dictate directly into any text box on a Chromebook, and it will capture your speech. So this is another way to say this is talking with your voice or typing with your voice. You're basically voice typing into the computer. Instead of using the keyboard to type, you can actually just dictate with your voice and get text written. And this can be really powerful as well for people who have dyslexia or different learning differences. Dictation's fabulous. We also have an on-screen keyboard. This can be great for people with different mobility impairments. We also have a bunch of physical keyboard adaptations. I'll just pick one off the list that I like talking about, which is sticky keys. So if you have limited dexterity, maybe you have arthritis, or you have repetitive strain injury, or you just have trouble using multiple fingers at the same time, sticky keys lets you chain the keys together. So sometimes people use different keyboard commands to do things. And this is a great physical adaptation to the keyboard that can really help people. And switch access, I know Nimer mentioned switch access. Chromebooks also have switch access. So for people with mobility impairments who can benefit from using a switch, they can control their whole computer with just a couple buttons. And that's what switch access is. All right, a couple cognitive features. This one I'm very excited about. This one just launched, and it's called reading mode. So this is a feature that was designed for people with dyslexia. And what it does is it simplifies a page. So it basically takes the content out of the page and just makes it very simple. You can change the background color. So for anyone who has a learning difference, dyslexia, this is a great feature to help people just read better. So that is reading mode. And this video isn't going to work, but there's a new part of reading mode, which is coming soon. It's coming this year. It's called Read Aloud, and this will read out the text on the screen. It's similar to Select to Speak, but it will read the text out of the reading mode. Oh, did it play? Oh, that one already played. Okay. All right, I was just going to mention Workspace, so things like Google Docs, Slides, Sheets. All of these are accessible, screen reader accessible, Braille accessible. They work with captions. So that's great. Okay. And Google Meet. I just wanted to call this out for people who are deaf and hard of hearing. There's a feature that allows you to multi-pin. In the video, you're just showing a sign language interpreter where you can actually pin your sign language interpreter. That can be really powerful for people who are deaf and hard of hearing. All right, those are the features I wanted to cover. I'm projecting a slide here with a bunch of resources. There's a bunch of links up here. I'm not going to try and read them all, but if you Google Chromebook accessibility or Android accessibility, you will find all of the information that we just talked about and lots more. We have lots of public documentation about all of the different accessibility features. Maybe I'll call out just one specific one that I really like, Google Accessibility Help Center, which is g.co/help/accessibility. If you have accessibility questions, there's a help center that you can call and get accessibility feedback. Thank you. That's what we had. And if there's any questions, we're happy to stick around. Yes, I see someone in the front.
Well, thank you very much for that wonderful sharing. I think you really make our life on the move and interesting and beautiful. Just a query. When it comes to the bit about commercial, of course you're in business versus accessibility. And here I ask for many of us who are visually impaired, the issue where we used to use HTML as a website for accessing our Gmails, and then suddenly you came up with this standard Gmail, and our life became sort of upside down momentarily. Of course, we are trying to adjust, and I think many of my colleagues have tried to adapt to the new change. But what informed that? Because before that, our life was okay. Thank you.
So that's, let's see, it is on, okay. That's really good feedback. Thank you for the feedback. I'll definitely take that back to the team. It's definitely feedback that we've heard before. Definitely really appreciate that feedback. I would say for the standard mode for Gmail, there's accessibility is baked into that as well. And so it is a little bit of a change. Certainly it's a change from the basic HTML. But there is documentation for that, and there are keyboard shortcuts, and so it is accessible. There's also documentation. There's a Help Center article in the Help Center for Workspace that highlights. There's a guide for how to switch from basic HTML to standard HTML mode, and it highlights some of the changes. And if you want to continue to use it the same way you used it in basic HTML, it talks about a few ways that you might go about doing that. But we'll definitely pass along that feedback to the team. So thank you. Any other questions? Yep, so I work on Android. Mariah works on Chrome, and Workspace, kind of has their own team. So what I would say is that in technology in general, I'm not speaking for Workspace, but in tech in general, sometimes there's a lot of factors that go into why certain decisions are made. There might be security. There might be other issues that impact decisions like that. So it's, like I said, we'll take that feedback back to the team. I'm not prepared to give you an answer exactly why the team is doing what they've done, but we'll definitely take that back to the team.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How's everyone doing? To the colleagues at the front, fantastic presentation. However, I've got a few questions and a few suggestions or recommendations in terms of feedback. Can we just simply start with Google Lookout? With Google Lookout, a fantastic product. However, at times when you point it to the microwave, it says TV for whatever reason. And it's difficult to switch between the currencies. Like I'm from South Africa, so for it to move into rands so that it can detect the correct denomination, though it may say the denomination, but that currency just tends to be a bit of an issue. And from a work perspective, then I am a COO of an organization, and I am visually impaired. So the Chromebook sounds like such a fantastic tool. However, I would just like to know as to how much does it cost, and where can one actually get it? And I think some of my people as well would greatly appreciate a tool that's like that. And if it is affordable, then it would be best for most of us. I think I also speak for most of the colleagues that are actually in here. And then lastly, with some of the products of which Google does have, like for instance, applications like Project Relate for the guys that have speech impairment. Some of these we have to buy them, and considering persons with disabilities in Africa, majority of them are unemployed, and this then becomes a necessity for them. Is there anything that can be done from a Google perspective? And yeah, I'm happy to not ask a lot of questions because I've got a lot to ask, but to just simply have a discussion with one of you at a later stage. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We'll be happy to connect with you and meet with you. I'll say about to answer briefly about Lookout. We'll let Mariah maybe talk about Chromebook. Lookout continues to improve, and of course there are a lot of advancements in AI. I think some of that has really been seen in the new images mode and the Q&A mode, but this also continues to improve. But we'll definitely pass along the feedback that a microwave is not a TV, and maybe you should not stick the TV in the microwave. Mariah,
Thank you,
talk about
Nimer.
Chromebook?
Yes. Please, everyone, come by our booth and give us this feedback. I want to thank you, and we can definitely pass our information along with you. We'd love to get kind of that direct Lookout feedback. That's fabulous. As for Chromebook pricing, it is pretty affordable. I do know there's sourcing challenges in different parts of Africa, but that's something that we're working on. And I can't remember if there was another question there for us, but please stop by our booth, and we would love to get more of your feedback. Yeah, pricing. Yeah. Okay, any other questions?
Maybe we'll take one last question.
Thank you very much for this informative presentation. My name is Florence Namaganda from Uganda. I work with children with disabilities across the board from mild to very severe and all conditions. So I just wanted to ask about a particular, don't know what to call it, app, tool, application, I don't know, but voice to text. So I work with children who have cerebral palsy and especially athetoid, so they have movement, they have speech challenges, and therefore their voice doesn't come out, clearly. But also they have another language, so they will probably know Luganda, a bit of English, and then they have muscle control issues. And when they try to speak so that it can come out in text, something different comes out. And we are trying to use this to grade their exams and things like that. And I was wondering, what can we do differently? Is there anything that we could do to help amplify their voice or to help them be able to, because this is their challenge, can we get the system to actually understand them? That is what I want to ask. Thank you.
Do you want to?
So I can think of a few different solutions. Again, we'll be happy maybe to discuss those at the booth. I think Look to Speak is one that comes to mind, potentially depending on the individual. Just using something like typing something out and possibly and having select to speak, read that out, or I think there are various options. So that those things we can discuss some of that, and if there's still feedback about things that maybe the gaps, then we'll happy to take that back to the team.
And I just want to chime in. Hi, I'm Laura from Google as well. This is something that we are definitely aware of as a challenge when it comes to recognizing non-standard speech. So we do have research projects going on across Google. This gentleman over here mentioned Project Relate, which actually is free, so we can talk about if you're seeing anything that's charging. But basically there is a research project that we call Project Euphonia. You don't have to remember that name, but it's called Project Euphonia. And the whole idea is, how do we collect many, many, many samples of speech data from non-standard speech across the world to help to train our AI models to better understand speech recognition. And hopefully, as we keep building up this database, we're going to be able to plug that in and use those models better as we integrate into different products across Google. One of the ways that we're integrating is this app called Project Relate, which is available, which allows somebody with non-standard speech to be able to sort of use many different areas. Like you can train it using your voice. Right now it's 18 and above, so it wouldn't necessarily help for this particular case you're mentioning, but we hope to see that change in the future. But somebody's able to record about 500 phrases using their voice, and it trains the model specifically. And then you can use that to have input text into a keyboard, or to have it verbalize aloud for you using synthesized speech. There are lots of different things that we're actively working on. We know it's not perfect yet, but we know it's a big area area of focus for the company.
Thank you. I think we are probably at time, but please find us at our booth. We'd love to talk more with you and get your feedback. And thank you so much for coming.
Thanks all.